Her eyes fluttered open to the soft morning light, filtering through the gauzy curtains and the quiet hum of the world outside. The city was just beginning to stir. Her fingers brushed against the tiny hand curled around her own, and she felt the warmth of a life she had nurtured since the first flutter of hope. Deep within her chest, the baby stirred again, cooing softly, a melody she had hummed every night for months, a tune that was both tender and timeless. The lullaby had no name, it had no origin in the books she had read, or the songs she had learned. It was her creation, born from sleepless nights and infinite love, and as the melody floated through the small apartment, it wrapped itself around the walls and filled the air with a gentle magic. She did not know that this fragile song would soon travel farther than she could ever imagine, across oceans, across cities, across time itself. It would find ears that recognized it from a memory they thought they had lost, a fragment of their own childhood, hidden deep beneath the years of life that had passed. And yet here it was, in her tiny child's voice, simple, pure, and unassuming, yet powerful enough to awaken a nostalgia so sharp it brought tears to strangers she had never met. The baby's eyes met hers, and she smiled a smile that contained a universe of feelings, the weight of love and the ache of sleepless nights, the joy of discovery and the quiet understanding that life itself was miraculous. She sang again, moving, gently rocking the cradle as the notes spilled into the air like sunlight through autumn leaves. And somewhere across the world, a woman paused her morning routine to listen, her hand frozen over the kettle as the tune brushed against the corners of her mind. And it was there, in the echo of her memory, she gasped and sat down, her heart pounding. The melody was exactly the one her grandmother had sung to her on long winter nights when the wind howled outside and the fire painted shadows across the walls. It was a tune that had comforted her as a child, and that she had thought lost forever. The recognition was instant, overwhelming, a bridge between her past and the present, built on nothing more than the purity of a baby's song. She typed frantically into the search bar a few words, a name, a hope that perhaps someone else had heard it, someone who could explain why this melody was hauntingly familiar. And across the world, the mother cradled her child, oblivious to the ripples she had sent through countless hearts as she hummed the notes again, each vibration a thread that connected lives without words, without intention, simply through the resonance of sound and memory. And the city outside moved on, oblivious to the quiet miracle that was unfolding in that small apartment, a miracle that would bind strangers together and remind them that life was fragile yet resilient, that love could travel distances no map could chart, and that sometimes the most ordinary moments contained extraordinary power. The baby yawned, stretching tiny fingers, and the mother kissed her forehead, whispering softly the same words she had always said, "The lullaby is yours, my love, yours to carry, to weave into the world." And as she sang, she did not know that somewhere far away, eyes filled with tears were listening and recognizing and remembering a past they had thought forgotten. And in that recognition was a warmth, a comfort, a reminder that connection exists even when unseen, that melodies can become bridges, that hearts can meet across continents, and that even a single note sung in the quiet of a home can echo endlessly. The morning deepened and light poured in through the windows, painting the walls gold. The mother hummed again, a variation she had improvised to soothe a sudden cry. The baby's head rested against her shoulder, and the gentle rhythm of her heartbeat merged with the tune, creating a symphony of intimacy and trust. And across the world, more people would hear pieces of this melody, fragments that would awaken memories like sparks in the dark. The power of music, the power of love in its purest form, a simple lullaby capable of threading lives together in ways unimaginable. And the mother continued, unaware of the unseen audience, each note a seed planted in hearts across oceans, a melody born of tenderness, care, and the quiet insistence that even in small things, greatness can exist. And she sang through the day, moving from room to room, the baby now awake but still murmuring in response to the familiar sound of the song. And as she sang, she remembered her own childhood, the stories her mother told, the nights she spent imagining worlds far beyond the walls of her home. And in that remembering, she realized that every lullaby she had sung had roots in a lineage of love, stretching back generations, carrying with it not just notes, but feelings, hopes, dreams, and memories that could survive time, distance, and even loss. And as the song continued, it gathered weight and presence, as if it knew it was destined for more than just a single cradle to soothe it carried. The essence of life, of beginnings, of endings, of joy and sorrow intertwined in a way words could never capture. And in the quiet moments when the baby slept, and she hummed softly to herself, she felt an intimacy with the universe that defied explanation, a sense that every note mattered, every pause, every breath a story in itself. And little did she know that this song would soon touch the lives of thousands, transforming an ordinary day into a cascade of recognition, awe, and emotional awakening. And as the hours passed, the melody lingered in her mind, a thread weaving through the fabric of her existence, connecting her past, her present, her child, and countless strangers she would never meet. And yet, in that connection, there was beauty profound and undeniable. And so the morning passed into afternoon, and the mother and child moved through their routines, yet the lullaby remained an ever-present companion, a reminder that small acts of love can have consequences far beyond comprehension, and that sometimes the simplest creations carry the deepest power. And somewhere across oceans, strangers hummed along. Memories ignited, eyes glistened, hearts opened, and the invisible threads of human experience drew taut and intertwined across continents, cities, streets, homes, and hearts. And the lullaby traveled on, leaving trails of wonder in its wake, a tiny song with the capacity to awaken whole worlds. And the mother sang on. The afternoon sun filtered through the curtains, painting the room in golden hues. The baby's tiny hands reached out as if trying to grasp the warmth of the light, and the mother's voice rose and fell in the soft melody that had become their secret language, a language without words, yet overflowing with meaning. Every note a caress, every pause a sigh, every hum a declaration of love that transcended speech. And across the world, people felt it, the melody seeping into quiet corners of homes, offices, cafes, wherever ears and hearts were open to receive it. And one by one, memories awakened, long-buried fragments of childhood laughter, the scent of old kitchens, the feel of hands held, the sound of voices now gone, all brought back by a simple song sung by a mother to her child. And she did not know that this song had become a living bridge between generations, across continents, connecting her own child's first moments with echoes of the past whispered through strangers who listened with reverence and tears. And as the evening approached, the room cooled and shadows lengthened. The baby slept more peacefully than ever, lulled by the familiar tune, and the mother sat beside the crib, lost in thought, remembering her own mother, her grandmother, the women who had come before her, each with lullabies and songs tucked into the folds of memory, songs that had comforted and protected, nurtured and inspired. And in that quiet reflection, she understood something profound, that her lullaby was not just her own, but part of a vast lineage, a river of music and love flowing through time. And she sang again, a softer, gentler variation, and somewhere far away, someone recognized the shift, the slight change in rhythm and melody, and a shiver ran down their spine, a recognition that was at once familiar and new. And the power of the song became tangible, as if it carried a presence, invisible yet deeply felt, threading itself through rooms, hearts, lives, leaving marks no eye could see, but no heart could ignore. And she did not know that the world outside was beginning to take notice, that the melody had been recorded by chance by a neighbor's camera, the tiny hands on the keyboard, pressing buttons, unaware of the storm that would follow. And as night fell, the lullaby drifted through the city streets and into the quiet of homes where people paused to listen, hearts beating a little faster, memories surfacing, smiles forming, tears spilling. And the mother hummed on, unaware of the waves her voice had set in motion, her baby's breath soft against her chest, a steady rhythm in time with the song. And across oceans, someone picked up the recording, listened again and again, marveled at the uncanny familiarity, the way it tugged at memory strings in ways they had long thought impossible. And they shared it with friends, friends shared it with friends, and the ripple became a wave, the song traveling faster, wider, farther than the mother could ever imagine. Her lullaby, a tiny pebble thrown into a vast ocean of human connection. And everywhere It landed, hearts stirred, lives shifted, emotions awoke, and yet, in her apartment, the mother only knew the quiet joy of seeing her child respond to the sparkle in the iced tiny hands clapping in delight. The sweet laughter that spilled like music over the notes she sang, and in those moments there was perfection and innocence and a sense of eternity that defied words, and she hummed into the night, rocking the baby to sleep, the city beyond. Oblivious to the miracle unfolding in a small apartment filled with love and warmth, and the baby's lullaby drifted on like a whisper carried by the wind over streets, buildings, oceans, continents, connecting hearts across unimaginable distances, a simple song becoming a testament to the unseen threads that bind humanity together in the quiet magic of everyday life. And somewhere a stranger smiled through tears, recognizing the tune from their own childhood, remembering the warmth of hands on their cheek, the safety of a familiar voice, the comfort of knowing that love transcends time and distance. And the mother sang on, unaware of the power in her own voice, that the tiny lullaby could travel so far, create such connections, leave such profound impact on lives unknown to her yet intimately tied to hers, through the language of melody and memory. And the night deepened, the city quieted, the stars blinked into existence, and she continued to hum softly, rocking her child in a slow rhythm that seemed to echo the heartbeat of the universe itself. And in that rhythm there was truth, there was love, there was continuity, the past, present, and future converging in a single thread of sound and emotion. And somewhere far away the song repeated in minds and hearts, a gentle call reminding all who heard it of innocence, joy, love, and the beauty of connection. And she whispered into the dark, the lullaby is ours, my love, ours to carry, and everywhere. The world listened and remembered, and the baby slept dreaming in the cradle of love, its tiny chest rising and falling in perfect harmony with the notes that would one day reach thousands, binding strangers together in a symphony of shared humanity. And the mother hummed on, through the quiet night, through moonlight, through dreams, through the gentle pulse of existence, a lullaby no longer just hers, but belonging to everyone who would hear it and feel it and remember it. And somewhere the world smiled through tears and memory and love, and the melody traveled on its invisible path, threading the world together, one note at a time. Night deepened, and the city slept under a blanket of soft quiet. The mother's voice continued to rise and fall in the lullaby that had become the heartbeat of their small apartment, each note a gentle wave carrying comfort, warmth, and love into the tiny ears of her child. And across the world the song traveled, carried on invisible currents through airwaves, through cables, through the hearts of those who listened and remembered fragments of their own childhoods, the memory of hands held, the sound of voices long gone, the safety of being cradled in someone's embrace. And the mother hummed on, oblivious to the ripple she had created, her heart full of the tender knowledge that in this small act of love she was shaping a life and connecting to countless others in ways she could never see. And the baby shifted in sleep, murmuring softly in response to the melody, a tiny recognition of the world beyond the cradle, a trust born from the rhythm of the song and the warmth of her mother's presence. And somewhere far away, a stranger listened again to the recording, the melody etched into their memory, like a faint line that had always been there, but only now could be traced, a line connecting them to a childhood long past. 2 afternoons in sunlit rooms, 2 evenings by the fire, 2 nights of whispered stories and gentle songs. And the realization struck them with gentle force that they were not alone, that somewhere in the world someone else carried the same tune. Their hearts, someone else had sung it to a child. And the recognition brought tears that rolled freely down cheeks, and hearts that swelled with a mixture of awe, gratitude, and longing. And the mother hummed on, rocking her child, the world beyond their walls, quiet yet teeming with lives that were already beginning to feel the presence of the lullaby, the melody embedding itself in memory, forming bridges across space and time, threads of human experience woven into something greater than any single person could contain. And the baby's small hands gripped her mother's fingers in response to the song, a gesture full of instinct and love, a tiny acknowledgement that they were one in a world that was vast and full of wonder. And the mother sang on through the night, through the stillness, through the flicker of streetlights, outside, casting shadows across the walls through the rhythm of her own heartbeat that merged seamlessly with the melody she created, and far across oceans and continents. People listened, hearts swelling with recognition, joy, longing, and connection, remembering fragments of their own lives and realizing that a single note sung in love could echo endlessly through human hearts and transform ordinary moments into extraordinary connections. The lullaby traveled further, carrying with it not just melody but emotion, memory, the essence of humanity itself, and the mother continued unaware of the growing chorus of hearts. Joined invisibly through her song, the baby slept nestled against her chest, a tiny anchor in the infinite expanse of possibility, and she hummed with a quiet joy, a sense of purpose unspoken, yet deeply felt, knowing that love could be heard and felt, even without sight words or intention. And as the hours passed, the lullaby became a bridge, a current, a thread tying together the lives of strangers long separated by distance and time. A reminder that innocence and tenderness have the power to awaken hearts and stir souls in ways the world often forgets, yet cannot deny. And the night stretched on. The lullaby continued, flowing smooth, steady, gentle, the mother's own breathing in perfect harmony with the song, the baby's chest rising and falling in response, and across the world's hearts pulsed with the memory of something forgotten yet familiar, lives touched unknowingly, transformed subtly by the simple gift of melody and the recognition of love. And the mother sang on softly, the notes like ribbons of light wrapping around the room, the child, the mother, the city, and beyond the tune, carrying with it the essence of shared humanity, the power of connection, and the undeniable truth that even in the quietest acts of love, the world changes imperceptibly, yet profoundly. And as dawn approached, the first pale rays of light stretched across the horizon, the lullaby still alive in the room, the baby now stirring in recognition of morning. The mother continued softly humming, a variation of the melody, one she had invented in the night, and somewhere beyond the city, the song had already reached ears and hearts that would carry it further, the ripple effect growing wider, deeper, more profound than any could have imagined. Yet the mother sang purely for the joy of her child and the comfort it brought them both, and in that purity lay the extraordinary power of the melody, a power unseen yet deeply felt, a quiet magic that would continue to ripple endlessly across the world. And the baby could reaching for the notes with tiny hands, and the mother responded without thought, instinctively weaving the melody around her child until the air itself seemed saturated with love and tenderness. And somewhere far away, another pair of eyes glistened with tears, recognizing the tune, remembering a childhood long past. And in that recognition, a bridge was formed, connecting hearts, souls, lives across oceans and continents. And the mother hummed on through the morning, through the first light, through the quiet intensity of love, a lullaby no longer just hers, but a gift shared with the world, a reminder that small acts of love can have monumental consequences. And the song traveled onward, a silent echo of the human spirit, a thread weaving the lives of strangers together in a symphony of connection, memory, and emotion. And as the sun rose higher, the melody persisted, soft, persistent, luminous, each note a pulse of life itself. The mother sang her heart open, and the baby slept nestled in the warmth of love, knowing nothing could harm them here, in this space of music, emotion, and tenderness. And far beyond their walls, countless hearts beat in time with the lullaby, a collective rhythm of recognition or gratitude and deep human connection. And she continued to hum softly into the day, her voice steady, sure, gentle, and the world listened unknowingly, embracing the gift of a small song that had traveled far and wide, shaping lives, touching hearts, awakening memories, and bridging generations in ways no one could have foreseen. And the baby's eyes flooded open again, cooing in response to the familiar tune, and the mother smiled, continuing to sing, enveloping them both in the endless warmth of her lullaby. The morning light spilled across the room, casting gentle shadows that danced on the walls as the mother hummed her lullaby, her voice smooth and flowing, each note wrapping around her child like a tender embrace. The baby stirred slightly, cooing softly in recognition of the melody that had become their shared Language, a language beyond words, filled with warmth, love, and the quiet insistence that they were safe and cherished, and far across the world, people listened, unknowingly drawn in by the soft recording that had captured the melody in its purest form. A song carried not just in sound, but in memory and emotion, and a man sat at his kitchen table, his coffee forgotten, as he listened to the tune. The same tune his mother had sung decades ago, a tune that had comforted him through lonely nights, and bound him to a past he thought lost, and he felt a rush of nostalgia, tears forming unbidden as fragments of his childhood came rushing back. The smell of the garden, the sound of wind through the trees, the warmth of a hand holding his own, and he realized with a quiet astonishment that this tiny lullaby sung halfway across the world connected him to strangers, to a new generation, to a mother and child whose names he did not know. And the mother rocked her baby, humming the tune she had invented, a tune born of love, sleepless nights, and countless moments of quiet reflection. She did not know that each note carried a ripple outward, reaching ears, hearts, and souls she could never see. And the baby's hands clutched at her fingers, a tiny heartbeat of recognition and trust, as the song and love flowed seamlessly through the air, a rhythm that echoed the universe itself. And across continents, the melody moved from phone to computer, to speakers, to headphones, leaving traces in memory like invisible footprints that no one could erase. And in each new listener, something stirred, a memory long forgotten, a smile, a tear, a whisper of connection that tied them back to something timeless and enduring. And the mother continued to sing. The melody grew in layers, gentle variations added, spontaneously born from instinct and care, creating a tapestry of sound that was both simple and profound. And as the afternoon wore on, the city moved around them, unaware of the miracle unfolding in a small apartment, the lullaby traveling unseen, transforming lives one note at a time. A symphony of human connection, without audience, without intention, only presence, only love. And the baby responded with soft gurgles, movements, small gestures that mirrored the rhythm of the song, as if understanding at some instinctual level that the melody was a gift not just for them, but for the world. And the mother hummed on, oblivious to the spread of recognition and emotion across oceans, the wind carrying whispers of her song through wires, satellites, signals, invisible paths she could not trace yet, whose impact was undeniable. And in the quiet moments, when the baby rested against her chest, she felt the pulse of the universe in every note, the continuity of life, the power of love, and the unseen threads that connect all human hearts. Through memory, music, and shared experience. And far away, a grandmother listened for the first time to the melody, her eyes widening as recognition sparked a torrent of memories of children, long-grown songs, long forgotten. And she smiled through tears, realizing that the same lullaby had survived decades, carried now into a new life, a new world, and that the circle of love and memory had expanded once again. And the mother continued softly singing the melody, her voice steady, flowing, endless, the baby's tiny sighs mingling with her hums, creating a duet of intimacy and continuity. And somewhere beyond the apartment, strangers hummed along, whispered fragments of the tune, recognizing pieces of their own past and sharing them quietly with others, thus spreading the song further still, the ripple growing, the connections invisible yet profoundly felt, as if the song carried the essence of humanity itself. And the mother hummed without pause through afternoon sunlight, through the shadows of evening, through the quiet moments of reflection, the song becoming more than melody, more than memory, more than music, but a living thread, linking lives, hearts, and generations across unimaginable distances. And the baby's fingers explored the edges of the cradle, reaching for the source of the comfort that was the song, and she laughed softly, responding to each movement, each sound, each coo, weaving them together with notes and love into a seamless tapestry of life. And somewhere far away, hearts pulsed with recognition, a thread tugged, a memory awakened, a smile formed, a tear fell, and the song traveled onward, a living proof that love expressed simply can echo infinitely. The mother continued to sing, her heart open, the world unknowingly listening and receiving the gift of her lullaby, a melody born of care and devotion, destined to touch lives in ways she could never imagine. And the baby's chest rose and fell in rhythm with her hums, each small movement a confirmation of the invisible bond forged by music, love, and presence. And the day stretched on the melody, persisted soft, persistent, luminous, touching life, unseen, yet deeply felt, and somewhere across oceans, strangers remembered they connected, they smiled, they wept. And the lullaby continued to grow its invisible wings, expanding, spreading, carrying human hearts together in quiet symphony of emotion and love, and the mother hummed on through the late afternoon, through the fading light, through the first whispers of evening, the song now carrying traces of every day, every coo, every sigh, every tear, every smile, a living thread of life and connection, and the baby nestled close eyes, heavy with sleep, responding gently to the melody, a tiny universe held in her mother's arms, and faraway people listened, hearts touched by the same song, hearts recognizing fragments of the past life shared, and the mother sang again, softly, instinctively, adding new variations, humming new notes born from the love she carried, and the melody traveled onward, binding hearts across continents, oceans, cities, homes, streets, and hearts. The recording spread quietly at first, a friend sharing a link, a small video posted online, a single view, then another, then dozens, and soon hundreds of eyes and ears were touched by the lullaby. A melody born in the quiet of a small apartment, reaching out across cities, countries, oceans, carrying with it not just notes, but memory and emotion. And somewhere, a young woman paused her morning routine, her tea forgotten, as the notes brushed against a memory long buried. The tune was instantly familiar. The same lullaby her grandmother had sung decades ago on cold winter nights, when the fire crackled and shadows danced on the walls, and a rush of nostalgia filled her chest, tears forming. Unbidden, she listened again, pressing play over and over. The melody weaving her past into her present, and across another city, a man heard the same tune in a cafe, streaming softly from a phone, earbuds in his ears. He closed his eyes and felt the weight of years lift slightly at childhood long forgotten. Returned in an instant, the smell of rain on asphalt, the softness of a hand on his cheek, the warmth of a story whispered before sleep, and he knew without knowing how that this melody was the same one that had shaped the early years of his life. Across the world, more people paused and listened, grandparents, parents, children, all recognizing fragments of memory, fragments of home and love. The melody traveled like a thread, threading lives together invisibly but profoundly. Hearts stirred, emotions awakened, connections made without words or faces. The mother hummed in her apartment, unaware of the invisible audience, each note carrying further than she could ever imagine, a ripple growing in ways she could never trace. And somewhere, a mother in another country listened with her baby curled in her arms, and the melody brought a shiver of recognition. She smiled softly, whispering words long forgotten, a story of family love, hope, and continuity, carried effortlessly through a tiny lullaby. And the world kept listening, the song threading itself through streets, homes, offices, classrooms, quiet corners of cafes, hearts beating faster, eyes glistening with memory, smiles forming, tears spilling unbidden. And everywhere the melody went, carried love, the simple, unassuming power of connection. The mother sang again in the evening, her voice soft, steady humming, a variation, instinctive, gentle. The baby nestled close, responding to every note, as if knowing the magic beyond the walls of their apartment. And somewhere far away, a teenager stopped scrolling on their phone and listened, mesmerized, recognizing the tune from a lullaby their mother had sung to them years ago. And in that recognition, they felt a quiet ache, a tenderness, a gratitude for memories they thought lost. And the ripple continued, spreading far and wide, a wave of human emotion flowing invisibly through the world. The mother, unaware, continued her lullaby, a simple act of love carrying unimaginable weight. The baby cooed, responding to the notes, a small smile appearing on their face, and the mother whispered softly, the same melody, the same words, a thread of love connecting them to the world, a bond invisible but deeply felt. The night deepened and the city slept, yet the lullaby traveled on each note, a beacon of memory and love touching lives, awakening hearts. And somewhere beyond the horizon, strangers hummed along fragments of the melody, recognizing pieces of their own lives, and silently Sharing it with others, the song traveled oceans, skies, cities, homes, connecting people without faces, without names, only hearts and memory, and the mother sang on oblivious of the unseen audience. Her voice carrying the quiet miracle of life, love, and connection, the lullaby no longer just hers, but a gift unfolding across the world, a small song with a profound purpose, awakening memories, inspiring love, and reminding all who heard it that even the smallest acts of tenderness can resonate infinitely. And the baby stirred slightly in their sleep, responding instinctively to the notes, and the mother hummed softly into the night. Each note, a heartbeat of life, love, memory, and continuity, a lullaby that was now touching countless lives, in ways she could never see, yet could feel in the quiet of her own heart. And the world listened and remembered, and the lullaby carried on. The days passed, and the lullaby continued to travel farther than she could imagine, each note carrying love, memory, and connection across cities, countries, oceans. The mother sang every day, humming softly to her child, and with each hum, she felt the quiet power of what she had created, a melody born of love and care, reaching hearts she would never see. And somewhere across the world, strangers listened, hearts swelling with recognition. A grandmother smiling through tears, a father closing his eyes, remembering a childhood long gone, a young woman whispering to her own child the words her mother had sung to her decades before. And the ripple continued growing, the lullaby weaving invisible threads through human lives, tying strangers together in a quiet symphony of shared memory and emotion. And the mother began to notice the messages that came to her, the emails, the comments, the heartfelt words from people she would never meet, telling her how the melody touched them, how it reminded them of family, of home, of love, of care, of moments they thought lost forever. And she smiled softly, her heart full, realizing that something so simple could have such impact. A tiny song, sung in a quiet apartment, becoming a beacon of connection and hope. And the baby cooed in response to the melody, their tiny hands exploring the notes as if understanding the invisible power carried within them. And the mother rocked them gently, adding variations, instinctively born of love and care, each note a thread of continuity linking past, present, and future across generations. And continents and people continued to share their stories, messages reaching her in waves, how the lullaby reminded them of lost parents of childhood, homes of nights spent in warmth and safety, how it inspired them to reconnect to their own children, to hold them closer, to hum, to love and cherish the simple moments of life. And the mother listened with quiet awe, each story a testament to the power of love and music, the small lullaby no longer hers alone, but a shared gift, a thread weaving countless lives together in intimacy, recognition, and tenderness. And the night deepened, the city slept, and the lullaby traveled on through phones, through speakers, through headphones, through hearts and minds, carrying love, memory, and humanity itself. And somewhere across the world, someone hummed it to their own child, eyes glistening with tears, a smile on their lips. And the mother sang softly, rocking her baby, a sense of peace settling around her, the knowledge that in this simple act she had created something eternal, a melody that would live beyond the walls of their home, beyond the city, beyond the country, touching hearts and lives, and reminding all who heard it that love expressed simply carries infinitely, that connections exist even without faces or names, that the quiet acts of care ripple through the world in ways unimaginable. And the baby nestled closer, sighing softly in rhythm with the lullaby, as if joining in the harmony of the universe itself. And the mother whispered softly into the night, the lullaby is ours, my love, ours to carry. And everywhere the world listened, hearts opening, eyes glistening, smiles forming, tears falling. Silently, the song traveled on, a beacon of tenderness, a thread of connection, a reminder that human hearts are never truly alone. And in that knowledge, she hummed again, the melody flowing, gentle, steady, endless. The baby's tiny hand reaching for the notes, and the world, unknowingly, yet profoundly, felt the gift of a song born in love, nurtured in care, and shared across oceans and lives. And the lullaby continued, carrying memory, love, and connection into tomorrow and beyond.